My name is Klaus Dona. Since 1997, I'm researching on out-of-place artifacts, so-called out-of-place, because they leave a lot of questions to our scientists, but they are an approval that there existed former unknown civilizations. And today I will show you pieces from one of, for me, most important collections from Ecuador, found by engineer Guillermo Sotomayor, 1984, while gold digging for a British gold digging company in Ecuador. He found in an underground tunnel, while digging, over 350 very strange artifacts. Most of them do not have any relation to any known pre-Columbian cultures. On this photo, you can see Engineer Sotomayor. Unfortunately, a few years ago, he passed away. He gave his collection to my very good friend, Herman Villamar, and he kept, and his family still keeps the artifacts, because also my good friend, unfortunately, 2 years ago, he passed away. So on that picture, you can see the place where Engineer Sotomayor found these interesting artifacts. Very interesting is also that very close to that location where they found the artifacts, there is, in my opinion, one of the most healthy water from all over the world. The city close by is called La Mana in Ecuador. I started 1997 the idea and planning to do an exhibition with out-of-place artifacts to give the science the possibility to check the artifacts when we bring them to Vienna to the exhibition. The exhibition was held 2001, and I got a good friend, a museum director, and he wrote lending requests to museums worldwide to lend artifacts which are strange or very hard to explain to our exhibition, which we called Unsolved Mysteries. So when we received the answers from the museums, out of over 340 requests, we got only one artifact. So everybody of my friends, it was already 2000, meaning a little bit over 1 year before the exhibition. My friends told me it's better to cancel the reservation, but I said I never give up. And we started the first trip to Colombia and Ecuador, and further on to United States, Mexico, Africa, and Europe. And we found in a little bit over 1 year, 470 artifacts, which we presented 2001 in Vienna. So when we arrived in Ecuador, through a good friend, we got connection to Herman Villamar, and he invited us one evening to come to his house to see his collection. On that picture, you see a part of his collection, and you can imagine how happy I was when I saw these strange artifacts. I asked him if he can lend us some of these pieces, but he said he has to ask the leader of the indigenous people called Villamar, Luis Villamar. So he invited next evening Luis Villamar, and when he came, we had a short talk, and then I asked him if he could allow us to take some of these pieces to the exhibition. First of all, he said, no way, these artifacts are very spiritual for us. I cannot accept lending you the pieces. So I was not really disappointed, but I was very sad and further on we had a long talk, and good that I could speak Spanish. So suddenly he stood up and he took, this is Luis Viracocha, he took one round plate, a small round plate, and he asked one of my friends to put a small string with a small magnet directly in the center of this spiral. And the first friend did it, and it started circling round, round, round until out of the plate. Then the second one and the third one. And this is our logo, which was planned already, which had a very, very similarity to this plate. So here you can see me when I was holding the small magnet directly over the spiral, and it did not move. So I was waiting around half a minute. Then I stopped it, but Luis told me, do it again. So I put it again over, and all my three friends, when they did it, the magnet started round, round, circling. But my test, it didn't move at all. And after the second trial, Luis looked at me and he turned around to Herman and he said, finally, Herman, you can lend those pieces to that man. So I was very, very happy. You see here, while I was holding the small magnet directly over that plate. Why it did not move when I did it, I have no idea, but finally that was the solution to Luis, that he lent us the artifacts. So I start with one heavy big rock, and on that rock you can see the world map carved. On the left side here you see the map of Athanasius Kirche, where you have Atlantis on it. The second map is from Turkey, and there are several other very old maps. And on the left side here is the so-called world map stone. This is the front side. You can see here Italy, you can see here Greece, you can see here Saudi Arabia, Arabian Gulf, India, and here you have an inlay, an eye, and there is a natural quartz line going around that rock, passing Asia, passing here where Japan and Taiwan is, but here you can see one long continent which does not exist in this style today. And this is the inlay of the eye and the natural quartz line, but the world map is carved, and there's an inlay to recognize the world. This is the other side, and you can see from Europe, from the Mediterranean, the white quartz line is passing the Atlantic Ocean, and here you have one continent which does not exist in our days. That could be Atlantis or a part of Atlantis, and it looks very similar with the card of Athanasius Kirche. Then the quartz line, the natural quartz line, comes down here and ends up here. It makes a turn at the location where today is Guayaquil, the Ecuadorian city. And there is a small inlay coming up here. And here you have a round dot. And this is exactly the location of La Mana in Ecuador, the town where those artifacts were found. And then the quartz line continues and goes back to the other side. And all these markings are inlays. So on the one side, you have here, as I told you before, you have one continent down here, and you have one continent here. It goes from the Sakhalin Islands, which are now belonging to Russia, down after Taiwan. That was one continent on that map. That means this map should be quite very, very old, because in our days now you have several Japanese islands, the Sakhalin Islands, and you have Taiwan around here. And also India is longer than in our days. And you remember after the big tsunami 2006, they found some sunken cities on the coast of India. That means there was really also in the past the possibility or the existence of some cities in this area. For me, interessant, connected with artifacts which are coming further on. For me, very important and interesting is why there is an eye inlay exactly around the area of Jerusalem or Middle East. That might be the place where the artifacts came from, but that is just my theory. There is no confirmation from scientists until now. So here you have a pyramid with 13 steps and an inlay of an eye. You have the one inlay on the world map stone, and you have here one eye inlay in the colors lightly green and white, and 13 steps. And if you look on one US dollar note, you can see that on that is one pyramid with a shining eye. And when I showed this in the exhibition and later on in some of the conferences, many people called me, I am definitely Illuminati because I show this pyramid. But I can tell you, when you look on the world stone map, you can see that that should be very, very old. And for me, this pyramid is much older than the existence of the so-called Illuminati. Here you have a close-up of the eye. And if you put the eye under black light, ultraviolet light, you can see that the eye is very shining. And I show you a small movie clip, which we did when we visited Ecuador. You can see how this eye is shining under ultraviolet or black light. When I saw that first time, my hair was standing up a little bit. I was really big surprised. And several other artifacts also, they have the same reaction when you put them under black light. On the bottom of the pyramid, you have the inlay of the Orion constellation in small gold plates. And there is an unknown writing. And there was one man, Professor Kurt Schildmann in Germany. He was the president of the German Linguistic Society, and he could, as he mentioned, not translate, but decipher. He said that the meaning on the bottom of the pyramid is the Son of the Creator comes. This is a close-up of the writing and the inlay of the Orion constellation. There are three pieces which are connected with the pyramid. You have a stone with an ink carving of a man sitting here. He is holding the pyramid. From his eyes are going rays out to two bowing men. On his head, he has a helmet and a kind of antenna which is showing up to this in carving. On that stone, I show you later a close-up. You can see how you have to hold the pyramid. And this is a helm, which you can see here in the ink carving. But there is something broken away here, and that might be that kind of like an antenna. Here on the stone, you see the two eyes. You see the right hand. The pyramid is standing on the right hand and holding with the left hand here on top. This is the helm. You can see here that something broke away here. This is Germán Villamar, he was. And here you see how the helm was fitting the head and how you have to hold the pyramid. One other stone, you can see again the pyramid with the eye and lines with spirals and unknown writing or symbols. Another stone, again the pyramid with the eye, and here you have the Orion constellation exactly like the three pyramids in Egypt, here in line, 1, 2, 3 stars. Then another stone with the eye and one round circle, which could be the presentation of the Earth, maybe, but that's just a theory. And again, that object over that circle. Another pyramid with a double spiral inlay, and also this pyramid, the inlays are very brightly shining when you put the artifact under black light. Then another very, very interesting artifact is the big jade cup with a star inlay, a star constellation inlay, and 12 cups with a kind of numbers which looks like Mayan numbers, but they are definitely different. Here you can see the 12 small cups and the big cup. The very interesting thing is the small cups are all a little different in size. That means they are not exactly the same size. But when you fill them plain with water and you put the water of the 12 cups into the big cup, then the big cup is completely filled, completely. Here you see one side of the cup and an inlay of 3 stars. And the interesting thing is that this cup inside is very magnetical. Germán took the small magnet on the string and he put it inside. It's magnetical completely on all places inside the cup. But outside, not completely, not only in the center of the 3 big stars. Here you can see better the 3 big stars. And here the reaction using the small magnet. Outside, only in the center of the 3 big stars, and inside magnetical all over. If you put the big cup and also the small cups, again under black light, you can see that all the inlays are changing the color and are more brightly under the black light. Here you can see some of the small cups and the numbers. And you can see here the Mayan numbers, that they are different, but there is a similarity. So maybe, again, there could be a connection between those artifacts and the Maya numbers in Mexico. And there was also a small jade plate with the same stars constellation like on the big cup, and two kind of people looking up to the sky. Here's a daylight. You can see the three big stars, again, the same like on the big cup. And also those pieces are, the inlays are shining in a bright light when you put them under black light. Then another very interesting artifact is a big stone. It was the form of a heart, but here part is broken, and also here part is broken. And you have a face on that heart stone. And the very strange thing is, how did they change the color of the brown stone with this material? Or maybe this material is artificial and made afterwards on the hard stone. And also here is a magnetical situation. When you put the small magnet directly over the mouth, it looks like this face is speaking. And you see the two eyes, the nose, the mouth, and the magnetical situation. That is the reverse side of the stone. And you have a spiral inlay and a triangle. Also the inlay under black light is brightly shining. You can see here. Another very interesting artifact, and does not fit South American culture because the cobra was not known as an animal of South America. The backside of the cobra head has 32 lines and one top dot. That means 33. And on each side, 7 dots with connections. That could be the signification of the chakras, and the 33 are again a kind of connection to the so-called Illuminati or Freemasons, but I'm sure that those artifacts are much older. Yeah, that is the top side of the cobra. And all the inlays on that piece also have the same reaction like the pyramid, like the cups, under black light. Here you see on the right side the eye of the pyramid and the reaction of the inlays of the cobra head. That's a so-called presentation of Kundalini. That means you can see here the sexual energy is going in snake line form on the back side up to the third eye. And this would be more a piece from India or Southeast Asia, but definitely not from any pre-Columbian culture. Here you see the backside, the snake form, the sexual energy is going up to the third eye. That's another very important piece from that collection. It's a stone, kind of stone helmet. And you have also here inlays, which have the same reactions under black light. And two experts in the exhibition in Vienna, experts for acupuncture, they told me that these are energy points on the back of the head, which they use for acupuncture. This is Herman showing how you could use that helm on your head. And here you see the inlays also reacting under black light like the others. Then this is a form like a dog face. You can see the two eyes, and on the reverse side, you have the third eye. And Herman showed me how you can hold that piece on your head. So that means the two eyes looking forward, and on the back side, you have at the point where we have the so-called third eye, it fits exactly with the inlay on that piece. This again, the small round jade plate with a spiral inlay. Also the inlays, the same reaction under black light, and also the magnetic effect in the center of the spiral. Another interesting piece, and some specialists told me it would be even difficult today to make so perfect circles with inlays in a jade plate today, even with high technology. So how could those people in the past making such wonderful piece? And again, the reaction with black light. That's a big snake with a lot of dot inlays in circle form. Also jade material. And then several statues, terracotta, some of them 1 meter, some of them half a meter big. Or many of them connected with a snake. And if you look at that, I think first you might think that is from India or from that area. But all those pieces were found 1984 in an underground tunnel in La Mana in Ecuador. For me, definitely, this is really one of the most important collections I ever found. And the interesting thing is, as I told you before, that close to that finding place, there is a water well, which the water has nanomicroscopic gold and silver particles in it. And it has a strong energy. When I brought back a few bottles in a carton, 2003, when I visited again Herman Villamar, I brought some plastic bottles with that water with me. And when I checked in Guayaquil airport, everything was okay. And after about half an hour, my name was called. And I had to go with a stewardess in a special room. There was my suitcase and the carton box with the water bottles, and surrounded with soldiers with the guns and one officer and a scanner and my carton box. And I had to identify myself, and they asked me if this is my luggage. I said yes. They asked me, what is inside the carton box? I said, plastic bottles with water from La Mana. They said, the officer told me, unpacking, please. And I started already nervous because I thought somebody put me something inside which could me bring into big problems. So I opened the carton, I took out one bottle by one bottle, and when I saw that there is nothing except the plastic bottles in the carton, first time I was a little bit relaxed. Then the officer told me, put the water back. I put it back. And then he took the carton box, he put it 2-3 times through the scanner, and then he made a telephone call. A few minutes later, a doctor came with an empty injection, and he asked me to open 2 bottles, and he took some of the water and went away. I had to stay there, and I was really nervous. I thought maybe somebody put me something inside the water. But finally, after half an hour, he came back. He talked with the officer, and the officer said, it's okay, you can go. I was shocked, and I was happy again because nothing happened. We went from Guayaquil, a friend was with me. We went to Bogota, and I thought, now we have the same problem. We checked in, we stayed there about 4 days, and when we came back to the airport, I told my friend, let's be at least 4 hours earlier. If we have the same problem like in Ecuador, we should be there in time. Nothing happened. So when I arrived in Vienna, I had nothing to declare. I went through the custom. Suddenly outside the custom control, 2 officers in civil came. They showed me the identification. They told me I have to come with them. So we went again back inside. We went in a room with a scanner, and the one officer asked me, what is inside that carton box? I said, water from Ecuador, but we had the same problem already in Guayaquil. I don't know why water is so complicated. One of the officers said, what did you do in Ecuador? I said, I was researching for my exhibition for new artifacts for unsolved mysteries. And the one officer was smiling and said, you did the exhibition 2001 in Vienna? I said, yes. He said, wonderful, interesting exhibition. You know why we put you out? I said, no, I don't know. He said, look, he put the carton box into the scanner and he put it inside. And then he told me, look at the TV screen. I looked on the screen. I said, it's black. He said, yes, that's why we picked you up. Because usually we see if there is water in plastic bottles, usually we can see the shadow of the plastic bottles on the scanner. Nothing, black. And I do not know until now why that happened, but some people told me that is the energy of the water which confused this the scanner. So I think you enjoyed this presentation. The next one will be about another very interesting collection from Colombia. Thank you very much for watching and hope you watch again. Thank you. Bye-bye.